reminder, I am trying to work with a teleprompter for the first time ever in my life. So please do not judge me, and if you see me looking down its notes on this thing, I'm so sorry. Also, I was thinking about doing this like in text form, but I wanted to kind of do this face-to-face. Trigger warning, I will have some brief mentions of like death and that sort of thing, but I'm not gonna get gratuitous about it. So without further ado, let's begin this video. First, I'm going to turn off this AC so you can't hear it the whole time, because that'd be super annoying. Hold on. Okay. Right on. Judgment of character. I was actually like super afraid to make this video, but then I watched Cruel World Happy Minds Illuminaughtii video and felt really inspired, actually. I thought it was really cool to hear her side of the story. I have actually been like kind of aware of that. I was fans of both of them until what happened between them kind of became public knowledge the first time. I've actually had an anti-MLM video myself idea, so if anyone's interested in that, I'll probably make that and put it out sometime. Even though that's like a super extreme example, I feel like we all have had some kind of experience consuming content and then feeling tricked by someone. I definitely have had that experience recently. And it's definitely had me kind of reflecting on some real life experiences I've had where people kind of tricked me a little. And it kind of made me question my own judgment of character a little. Ugh. Back in high school and like kind of through my early 20s, I was a really big like horror and true crime fan. I will not lie, I was super into it. I wanted to be like a special effects makeup artist, all sorts of things. I love podcasts like My Favorite Murder that helped me and my husband get from Arizona to Texas for a wedding, actually. That was really fun. I loved that wedding. However, as I've gotten older, I'm approaching 30. My interests have definitely shifted a little, and I'm not as into true crime as I used to be. I still watch like JCS and some Gym Can't Swim inspired videos. I also think that Wendigoon has some really interesting angles on like true crimey like stories. He's very compassionate. So I'm not no to true crime, but I'm definitely not like yes to all true crime. And I actually want to share a story today that's inspired by My Favorite Murder. Even though I don't really listen to them very much anymore, I want to share my hometown murder with you guys. Back in 2015, it was actually January, so the first Friday event of the year, I was attending, and that's an art walk here in my hometown if you aren't aware of that. And it was during this event that I noticed a car that I had seen kind of around my mom's neighborhood, actually. It was noticeable because it was an old police cruiser with like the words like zombie hunter on the side and stuff. It was all kind of decked out. I got a little curious and I went and struck up a conversation with the guy that was like in costume next to it that I was pretty sure owned it. And he showed me some like pop guns in his trunk and he seemed nice enough. I actually told my mom about it. We both really liked The Walking Dead at the time, so I was like, he seems super cool, like, I know he's in the neighborhood and stuff, so he seems actually nice. Didn't really think anything of it. Fast forward a few weeks, I actually am babysitting my younger sibling, and I see, like, police cars and, like, lights and helicopters and sirens, all sorts of stuff, and so I turn on the news, and someone's actually getting arrested down the street, and I was like, weird, we'll just stay in the house. Went about the rest of my evening until the next day. My mom texted me, hey, I thought you said the zombie hunter guy was nice. He beheaded 2 girls in the 90s. And I was like, what the fuck? Not cool. But also, like, how did I not see that he was kind of a weirdo? But with him in particular, I think I was doing something that I think a lot of us do, where we don't want people to write us off for our weird quirky things. Like, I like horror movies and stuff, so I didn't want people to think I was like a weirdo right away because of it, even though I probably was, and I rethought those things now. I feel like that's kind of where I was at with that, and I've had some recent experiences with friends from hobbies and school where I thought they were something and they turned out to be totally different. Through these experiences, I've definitely learned some valuable lessons about setting boundaries for myself. I definitely don't want to get hurt myself, obviously, but I also don't want to inadvertently hurt others. I think that boundaries for ourselves help us not hurt people on accident too. I have been really analyzing that, and kind of while my fascination with true crime and kind of my relationship with my own instincts and all those things have definitely evolved over time and really evolved over the past few months, to be honest, I now believe more than ever in the importance of navigating interpersonal relationships with mindfulness and caution. Speaking of that, I actually want to share with you some signs of a toxic friend. Number 1, negativity, which I feel like we all know that negativity can be draining, but on the other hand, toxic positivity can be just as draining. If someone's always emotionally bypassing situations, you are definitely going to feel just as drained as if they're like always being super negative about them. So having connections in your life where they are real about what's going on in their lives and others is so important. Number 2, manipulation. Now, I think we all know about like what surface level manipulation looks like, but it can also look like things that look nice, like gift giving or paying for you to go places. While this may feel or seem nice at the time, it may also be a way to influence or control you in some way. Number 3, a lack of empathy. So toxic friends may show little empathy or understanding towards your feelings, and they might dismiss your concerns or struggles, and in some cases even mock or belittle things that you find sacred. Number 4, consistent boundary crossing or pushing. It doesn't have to be like they're obviously crossing boundaries. Sometimes they will push boundaries to see if they can get away with it. And in extreme cases, they might put you in dangerous situations that jeopardize your safety or well-being. And this may seem accidental at times, but after it becomes a pattern, you might want to reevaluate that relationship. Number 5, jealousy and envy. I feel like we all know what insincere compliments feel like. We all know what backhanded compliments sound like. All those things, you definitely just want to be on the lookout for that. And also comparisons. You don't want to be compared to your friends ever. At least I don't. Jesus. Finally, number 6, one-sided relationships. I feel like this encompasses kind of everything that we talked about. They might expect you to always be there for them, but never really reciprocate that effort. And when you ask them to kind of have excuses or say the right things and then kind of keep it pushing and want things to stay exactly the same. Navigating these friendships and relationships can be super complex. I do know that while we may do all of the necessary self-work, attend all the therapy sessions, stay vigilant for warning signs, we might also still find ourselves in a situation where someone charmed us and they ended up being different than what we thought they were. And it's crucial to acknowledge that charming people can also kind of suck sometimes. It's just the way it is. Feeling lonely after being mistreated is a super common experience. I know that I found myself yearning for connection and acceptance, and that led me to overlook some major red flags in others. And it's important to remember that we are all human, and sometimes red flags can be challenging to spot. You definitely don't want to beat yourself up for not recognizing every single warning sign. Recognizing red flags is a learning process, and it's okay to make mistakes along the way. And the key is to reflect on those experiences and grow from them. If you're going through a friendship breakup, trust me, I understand the pain it can bring. I've been through it with longtime friends of over a decade and some friends I've gotten close with way too quickly. You want to remember that it's okay to grieve the loss of a friendship and take the time you need to heal and move forward. In these moments, you want to lean on your support system, whether that's friends, family, or professional help. The journey of self-discovery and friendships is ongoing. As we grow older, our interests, boundaries, and values may change, and that's perfectly normal. You want to embrace this evolution and trust that every experience, good or bad, contributes to your growth and understanding of relationships. As I reflect on my own journey throughout my whole life, a profound principle from yoga philosophy comes to mind. It's Aparigraha. Aparigraha is one of the 5 yamas which provide ethical guidelines for leading a meaningful and balanced life. At its core, Aparigraha teaches us about non-attachment and non-greed. It encourages us to release our grasp on material possessions, relationships, and even our preconceived notions of others. True happiness, it tells us, lies in finding contentment with what we have rather than constantly seeking more. Incorporating Aparigraha into our lives can be a powerful tool for navigating relationships and friendships. Looking back on my experiences, I realized that at times I may have become entangled in my own expectations of who others should be. Aparigraha tells us to release these preconceived notions and judgments, paving the way to approach others with an open heart and mind. Moreover, this principle reminds us to be mindful of the company we keep. It encourages us to surround ourselves with genuine, supportive individuals while being discerning about toxic friendships. It doesn't advocate for detachment. Instead, it guides us in choosing relationships that enrich our lives and contribute positively to our growth. Embracing Aparigraha doesn't mean becoming indifferent or detached from the world. Rather, it's about striking a delicate balance between caring deeply for others and letting go of unrealistic expectations. Through this practice, we can cultivate healthier, more meaningful connections and find a sense of peace within ourselves. On that note, I do want to highly recommend a channel right now, Heidi Priebe. She talks about both romantic and platonic relationships in the context of attachment theory. I love her so much, and she actually recently uploaded a video that was super insightful on letting go of attachments, and I will link that down below if anyone's interested. Remember, embracing Aparigraha is a continual journey of self-discovery, allowing us to foster more meaningful and fulfilling relationships and a deeper connection with ourselves. As we continue on our paths, I want to embrace the wisdom of Aparigraha and all yoga philosophy and cultivate a profound understanding of myself and others, and fostering a life enriched by genuine connections and inner peace. While this isn't my typical content, I want to continue this journey together, exploring different facets of life and fostering meaningful discussions. I'm still discovering what I want to put out there content-wise, and I appreciate everyone following along this early. As we navigate the complexities of relationships and friendships, I want you to remember to trust your instincts and be cautious and surround yourself with genuine and caring individuals. Sometimes that genuine and caring person may be none other than yourself and perhaps one other close companion, and that in itself forms a beautiful foundation for a fulfilling life. Before we conclude, I want to take some time to acknowledge the tragic events surrounding Brian Patrick Miller. He was sentenced to death this year, and I want to take a moment to remember the 2 victims in this case, Angela Brasso and Melanie Barnes, who lost their lives in an awful way, and their loved ones needed to cherish the memories of them after that. I want to thank you all for listening and being a part of this important conversation to me. Stay safe and take care of each other.